Okay, so welcome to week 4 on right effort for running with ease. So we're going to be down on the floor for the first part of this session, and then we'll be up doing some similar work that we've done previously in standing. There'll be some variations as usual on the theme, so it won't be exactly the same. So if you're okay to have some space that you can take your arms out to the side as well as being able to take them up. So I'm going to actually come a little bit closer to the screen. I think that's still going to be okay. And I'm doing my best not to overwork the wrists here. However, I know for some of you it's really vulnerable area, the wrist, so you still might need to take longer breaks or change to using just fingers or change to using fists or roll up your mat at the front so you've got some more support underneath your wrist. So you kind of make those choices there. So we're going to start on all fours in tabletop as our starting position. I'm going to do a circle from hand to hand, if you like, knee to knee. So it's kind of like imagining your nose drawing a circle or your navel drawing a circle. So you'll be going round your wrists and round your knees. And you're just looking for a smooth circuit, as we often do. So we're looking for easeful movements. So a lot of what we're working on today is work around the hips and the shoulders, but certainly not exclusively, as we continue to kind of make sense of where to give effort from, where to initiate the movement from and how that changes. And yeah, and to some extent, we're looking at kind of how much effort we put into things. So circuiting the other way. And this might feel different from the experiencing of your first way. So I don't find this too much of a difference. I found a little bit on the left wrist, being a little bit reluctant going this way. But it's pretty small. Okay, and then pause, and if you need to just give your fist for your wrists and then just a change or a shake out, whatever you need to do in between times. So we're going to go from our right hand to our left hip. What I mean is you push away from your right hand to your left hip and then back. So it's a diagonal, if that makes sense. So I'm pushing from my right hand to my left hip. So it's a bit of a diagonal. Okay, I wouldn't scare you coming at you scream like that. Okay, so right hand to left hip or right shoulder to left hip or right wrist to left knee, whatever makes sense. And that diagonal across. Okay, so put a little bit more effort to pushing from the hand towards the wrist, pushing from the hand towards the hip, pushing from the hand towards the opposite hip, pushing from the hand towards the opposite hip. And then see if you can work by pushing a little bit more from the knee and the hip towards the hand. A little bit more effort from that side. And then push from the hand and then push from the knee and the hip, push from the hand, then push from the knee and the hip. As it sort of becomes a much more sort of, it might feel more effortful, but it also might feel more strong. It might feel more engaged. So when we engage, we tend to not just be engaging the areas I'm mentioning, which is the hand and the hip, but we're kind of got that whole work going on between the hand, the arm, and into the shoulder and into the torso. From the knee through the thigh into the hip and the butt is actually doing the work. And it's quite useful to see this connection between the arms and the legs and the centre of the body. Okay, let's pause because we'll be a bit wonky. And then again, just do what you need to do to get some relief. So no surprise, going to do the opposite side. So left wrist to right hip or right knee. It's diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. So just notice how, so there's a floaty version. Yeah, just notice this easeful movement. And then what it means to engage a little bit more and how that feels, whether that feels good or not. So if the wrist doesn't like that push from the hand, then just let it be soft again. And if you can then push back with the hand and then pushing forward with the hip, so there's work going on from both sides. Push, pull, kind of thing going on. Push, 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 and then pause. Again, just check out what's going on in the wrists. So we're going to try and alternate now. So you go from a bit more pressure from your right hand to your left hip, back to center, and then from your left hand to your right hip, back to center, and then the other way, and then the other way, and then the other way. So there's diagonal push from the hands, like you're drawing a cross now between the wrist and the knee, the wrist and the knee. Okay, a little bit of cross. Great. And pause. Okay, so I'm going to need to make an adjustment here so that you can see a little bit more. So I'm going to do it from the front, that I feel might work better. So I've got my toes tucked under this time. I'm going to sweep my arms forward and up towards the sky, and then I'm going to take my bum towards my heels and bring my arms out to the side, lower them down, brings me up, takes me down, brings me up, takes me down. So often when we're doing any kind of movements where we're raising the arms, even though there's other body parts kind of involved, it tends to come mainly from the upper body. You know, we lift because we're drawing up. And that drawing up motion helps, you know, hopefully we can find an easy way to gather ourselves up. But if you can push from your toes, sometimes that's not the nicest thing. So don't worry if it doesn't work or feel good for the toes. Back, up, out, down, back, out. Okay, so one more circuit. Yay, okay. So we're going back into our all fours, but we're going to have a different positioning in relation to hands to knees. We're going to take our hands further forward from the shoulders. I'm going to tuck my toes under, find the right amount. I've gone too far with the hands there. So I'm going to push back, bum towards my heels, come forward just so the shoulders now arrive just above the wrist. I'm going to push back. So it's kind of like a jack in the box, forward and back. Forward and back. So can you do that with real ease so that there's minimal effort in terms of kind of muscular support? It's more about bones doing the work, if you like, rather than muscles. Just floating forward and floating back. As we did with the first circle, I think. And then count what happens when we push through our hands to get ourselves back. And then what happens if we push through our feet to bring us forward. And then what happens if we push through our hands to take us back and we push through our feet to bring us forward. So the movement will feel and possibly look more less, certainly harder. Maybe it might end up feeling faster. So there's more effort, there's more work. And for some, that's kind of like where you want to go. You want to be engaging more because you need more support from the muscles. And in other areas, you might be wanting to float. So go back to float version. You can cope with it a few more goes. Float forward, float back, float forward, float back, float forward, float back for ease. Okay, great. So, it's a little bit more to do on the hips. So we are going to need to be down again. So we'll just have a arms floating forward and back for a moment to have a break. We can hold up the toes, I think, with this one. Okay. So I'll try and explain. So hands are down as they were before. So we're back into tabletop now. We've not got our hands in front. And initially, we'll bring the knee, one knee, a favourite knee, slightly further forward, then slightly out to the side, but not much, and then a little bit behind. Slightly forward, slightly out to the side, and then slightly back, forward, out to the side, slightly back. Okay, so we've kind of been doing, we've got 3 points with the knee there. So you could argue, if we're going to have a clock face, that when we take the knee forward, that's 12 o'clock, take the knee out to the side, and that's 3, and then we take the knee back, and that's 6. We're going to add in the 9, so there's 4 points, it's more like a diamond. So we come forward at 12, we go out to the side at 3, we go back to 6, and then we bring the knees, so the knees are almost touching, therefore, to come to the 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. So when you're at 12, see if you can go backwards to 9, to 6, to 3. So we're just trying to work a little bit with hip mobility. And then what we're going to do is we're going to round the clock then. So the knee floats around those 3 points, 4 points, as best you can, circling round, and then circle round the other way. Great. And let's take a break. Go back with the bum, rest the forearms down into a child's pose position. Move your fingers a bit. Okay. Got to do the other side. So coming back up, finding your all-fours position if you can manage with the wrists. So again, we bring opposite knee. Knee comes forward, slightly out to the side and behind, forward, out to the side and behind. So those are your 3 points. So you're going to add in. So now we've got 12 at the top. We went at the external rotation, then that would be 9, back down to 6, and 3, where we almost bringing these together. So this diamond shape to get a little bit of an internal, external movement for the hip, and forward and reverse movement. And then let's turn that into a circle. And let's turn that to a circle the other way around. So you're trying to create smoothness here in that circuit. And it can be a big clock face or a smaller clock face if you feel you need to do that. Okay. Then back on to all fours. So we're going to come back to where we were before. So we swing the arms forward to stand up on our knees, out to the side and sit back. Yeah. Just do the arm movement if you have to. Keep your bum well off your heels. Thumb tucked under with the toes. Okay. Right. So just a little bit more down here. back into all fours, this time with the knees together, and start off with hip drop, so the hips and the bum goes from side to side. The hips with the knees together, drop down, drop down, drop down, drop down. Okay, and we'll change that into a figure of eight. So in your float through, you'll feel the weight change as you do that circuit, but you're looking to float. So not use muscles so much, more using that ability of joints to give you the space to move. Okay, bum in the opposite direction. You might be pleased to know that we're going to be coming to standing in a moment. Floorboards. Okay, and we're done. So we're going to come up to standing now. So finding the safest way for you to get up. Just climbing and bangs. Let's move it over a little bit further. Okay. Okay. So we're standing. So it doesn't matter if you come to the front of the mat straight away, but we will be working into some of the similar warriors and side angle type things that we've been doing. But for now, all you're doing is allowing the arms to swing forward and back. So obviously, there's enough space to have your arms not hitting the wall, behind or in front. It's just a swing and let that allow the weight to shift between the soles of the feet and the heels as you really relax into that. So we haven't been standing, so the legs need to just get a little bit used to this new position, and the feet need to get used to supporting you. Okay, so we're loosening the shoulders in this sort of swing, and we're going to change that into elbows bent as we swing back. And then we're going to change it into runner's arms, which means we're going to alternate one elbow back and the other elbow back. And we're really concentrating on taking the elbows back, elbow 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 back. So, this is more what you would be doing, concentrating on when you're running, potentially as a kind of focus to be able to let the arms swing and let the elbows work, be more about pushing back than it is about the swing forward. And the hands are broadly kind of arriving at hip level. And there might be, I sometimes prefer to have my arms higher, but generally, if you do that, just notice what happens, it tends to bring your shoulders up more. So if you bring the arms further down, then the shoulders will rest a little bit more. One back, one back, one back, one back, one back, and then just let the arms swing their own accord. Okay, so we're going to be stepping in a moment into Warrior One, and the Warrior One version I'm suggesting is to step back and stay on the balls of your feet rather than putting your heel down, if you can. So having your feet at least hip distance at the front of your mat, you can bring the fingertips together softly, let the shoulders just release so the neck feels okay here. And then we're going to step back and have the front knee bent and feel sufficiently secure with our back toes down and the ball of the back foot down. And sometimes you don't know till we start to move. So we're going to sweep the arms up, and as we're going to straighten the leg, and we're going to bring the arms down and push back. Some sense of the movements we were doing before with the elbows going back. We sink down and we sweep the arms up. We straighten the leg and push that and the arms behind us so the chest opens a little bit more. We sit down. So if you like, when you sweep the arms back and open the chest a little bit more, you could look up, but it doesn't always help everybody to have that gaze upwards when you're on the toes of the back foot. So you decide. So we're sinking down, we're pushing up through the foot, we're pushing back through the hands and opening through the chest. Sweeping the arms up lightly, sitting down, pushing up with the foot, arms come down and back. Okay, so just come back into soft knee, so bending the knee. Don't have to go down as slow as you were. Let the arms just swing, let the fingers have a little bit of movement. Push off with the back foot and just bring the fingertips together for a moment. Just pause to breathe. Okay, so you've got it now. Just do the second side. So pausing with the fingers and stepping back. Yeah, so this side sometimes less reliable for me. So I'm sweeping the arms up, but keeping that front knee bent into warrior one. And then I'm straightening the front legs. The front legs? I've only got one. And pushing the arms back. Let's try that first to just see if that's kind of something that a body will cope with without falling over. And then I might feel like I can look up and open the chest a bit more as I take the arms back. Push up slightly from the front foot, maybe. Sink down. Push back, straighten that front leg, arms go back, chest opens. So see how smooth each side is. This side for me is definitely not as smooth, as balanced as the other side. Okay, so next time you bend the knee, let the arms come down and swing a few times. And step forward, have a little shake out, a wriggle. So these things are familiar, but we like to slightly change them so we have a variation. So the mind's got to be aware. So every time I change them, I don't just change them to be awkward. I just change them so that we're not always just doing the same repetitive movement without thought. I'm sure we wouldn't do that though anyway. Okay, so this time we're going to step into warrior. So when you're ready, stepping back to your first side to warrior. So you're so used to this now with this front bent knee, slight opening of this back leg. Sorry, slight internal rotation of this back leg, and a slight external rotation of this front leg. We've got arms at shoulder level. We might look over through the front hand. That's where the bent knee side is. And then what we're going to do is extend the arms up and straighten the leg and look forward. And then look over the hand and come up to warrior. Straighten the leg and look forward. Down, straight. So again, how fluid could you make this? How soft could you make it? And what would happen if you put more pressure through that front foot to straighten? Okay, we're going to get out of this. So using the back arm and back leg, swing yourself forward, then inside. You're going to shake out, you need to in between, fingertips, just to relax the shoulders, and then Stepping back on your second side. Bit of an internal rotation, bit of an external rotation. Arms at shoulder level, looking over that front hand, which is where the bent knee side. And then we straighten that front leg and we go up with the arms, looking forward, sit down, look over the front hand, forward with the arms up. And we find our easiest way to move between the two. More flow through the arms, maybe. And if you want to, you can do more effort through the front leg, straighten it, i.e. pushing from the ball of the foot to see how that feels. Extra effort. So next time the arms come down, we can use the back arm, that leg, to just about arrive at the front of the mat. Okay, so we're on to our third move from the front of the mat. So we're going to go from warrior to triangle positioning here. So stepping back into your warrior again. Being happy with leg positioning. You come up into your warrior 3. And all I mean by triangle is you straighten the front leg and you tilt over. You come back and then you hinge. Okay, so for now, I want to keep it simple and not looking up and not changing what you're doing with your arm. So it's much more just of a hinge movement between warrior, the triangle shape. So this arm that floats sort of up is just being lengthened away, and the arm below is just being lengthened down slightly. Okay. So we're going to pause in warrior and get our back arm, back leg to the front of the mat. Shake out, do whatever you need. And then just do the second side. So we're going to step back into our warrior, warrior 2. Be positioning for the legs. And from there, we're going from warrior to triangle. To triangle. So palms face down, top arm as well as bottom arm, which isn't a traditional triangle. We're just trying to get this hinging movement, which before you can do it as a really, what would be the easiest way to get from point A to point B, but you can do more work to that front leg to get you there by pushing through the ball of that foot as you lengthen. So you could, sorry, look forward to that front hand when you do warrior. If you wish to, you can just keep the head in neutral. Okay. So I'm in warrior, I'm going to work our way back to the front. So stepping forward, and that work is done. So we're going to take the feet wide, with the toes out, heels in. Okay. And we're going to go from extending arms up and sitting down to flowing the arms down and straight legs. So taking the arms up and sitting down, floating up. Okay. So everything's kind of working in unison, hopefully. So you have to work your legs a bit because where they are, out wide. You could see what happens when you put more effort, more focus through pushing through the feet, whether that helps you get up and feel more integrated, the legs into the body. Can the shoulders and the arms feel really connected into the trunk? So we don't sit down any further than we feel is copable. Okay, so we're going to go from here more into the swimming dragon thing. So I don't want my legs quite so wide personally. I've got my knees bent, so I'm already kind of sitting down. Only, it's only a small sit. It's not a really sitting down on the chair level. It's a little bit of a sit, and then I'll just have a little bit of a movement through the arms as the palms are together. Swim around a little bit. Might sweep my arms over. Just take it slightly to the right, slightly to the left of that. Feels like you can do that with the knees feeling okay. Forward again. Not to push down on that side so much. Okay. And swim back to center. Okay. So let's get our feet together. So heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And just for a moment or two, we bring our feet close together, knees touching maybe, and hands on belly, or you can have a hand on the chest and hand on the belly. And if you're comfortable closing your eyes, close your eyes or lower your gaze, soften around the face and the throat and the jaw, eyes, let the shoulders just relax down. And then see if you can do this kind of floating in the wind idea, bamboo in the wind, where you do little subtle movements in the feet to just let you have that feeling that you're being blown around. Your eyes closed, you're not going in a circle, you're not going in any way, shape or form that there's any pattern. You're just allowing yourself to just occasionally go forward, occasionally go to the side, occasionally go back. Keep a sense of the back of the neck long so you're not falling forward or falling back. You can help it. Really aware where your hands are, that it's in center, that you've got a stability through the center to know that you can be safe to just do a little bit of rocking, rolling around on the feet. Try not to be hard in the hands here. And then just be still in center. Open the eyes. Separate the feet, separate the hands if you want to, while we're just finishing, just a little bit of loosening up again. Okay. Right, effort. Easeful running. Great. Okay, we're getting there, week 4. And we've got a 7-week series. So we can float our way towards each other again next week, same time. Your same place, maybe. Okay. Thank you for joining and see you next time.